In this video, we are going to go ahead and get a domain for our site. Now, we should have already done our keyword research so we know what keywords we're going after. And now we're going to try to get a domain with those keywords. So for me personally, I like to use namecheap.com. I've used a ton of registrars in the past. Used to use GoDaddy mostly, but I've had some issues with them. So I've kind of moved away from them. And now I use Namecheap exclusively. So if you want to follow along exactly, you can use Namecheap as well. Otherwise, whichever one you are familiar with. Now, when I did my keyword research, if you remember in the previous video, the two terms that I wanted to target were sleeping bag reviews and best sleeping bag. I had two secondary terms as well. They're just variations, sleeping bags review and best sleeping bags. So basically just an S on bag. So if I can't find a domain with the top two, I can always use those. So ideally, the best domain for me would be best sleeping bag reviews because it uses both keywords. I'm going to have exact match on both of those keywords if I can get that domain. Again, because I'll have best sleeping bag and then I'll have sleeping bag reviews all in there. If I can't get any of those, I can move on to my secondary terms. So let me try best sleeping bag reviews. And I'll see if that is available. And I'm in luck. It actually is best sleeping bag reviews. Now, if I'm just going to star that one because that's probably the one I want to use. Let's say that wasn't available. Well, then I could try best, what did I have? Best sleeping bags review. And that one's actually taken. I also could do just review, take the S off there. And now you can see that one's available too. So what you want to do, ideally you want to get both of the, well, if you're going after two terms, you want to try to get both of those terms in the domain. It's going to give you a little boost SEO wise. It's just nice to do. If you can only get one term, get that. But for this specific example, I'm going to be reviewing sleeping bags. So having sleeping bag reviews in the domain is probably my number one, the number one thing I want to get in there. Now, I just so happens I could get them both, best sleeping bag reviews. So that worked out perfect. I would urge you to get a .com. I know .coms are getting harder and harder to get, but from the sites I've created, .com still perform the best. A .net is also an option. I don't like to put a lot of hyphens in the domain, but if you're short on available domains, you can do that. But ideally, if you can get your keywords in your domain with a .com, that's the route I would go. So for this example, it just so happens that best sleeping bag reviews was available, which works out perfect for this. So go ahead and find a domain. Again, try to get a .com. Try to stay away from hyphens and try to get your main keyword in there. So if you have to put a secondary term in there, you can do that as well. Whether it be sleeping bag reviews online or like for example, best having to work out good, best sleeping bag reviews, or I could possibly do top sleeping bag reviews. Any kind of modifier you need to put in there, that's fine as well. I would just urge you to try to get your main keyword in the domain and get a .com without having to use hyphens. So I got bestsleepingbagreviews.com. That's perfect. I'm going to go ahead and buy that. And then from there, you just want to hook up your domain to your hosting account and then install WordPress. Now, if you're unfamiliar with those steps, I would recommend one of two things. Either you go to YouTube and look on there, or you simply look for a help section on your hosting account. There's so many different hosting accounts. I don't know which one everyone's using. So the easiest way is to check with your hosting account how to add a domain or WordPress, or just simply to look on YouTube. Once you have that done, we can move on to the next step. In this video, we're going to talk about customizing WordPress. WordPress is a great tool, but right out of the box, it does have some limitations and some things we need to change in order to set the site up exactly how we want. So let me just jump over to our demo site here, and again, it's the best sleeping bag reviews. Now, the first thing you're going to want to change is you're going to want to go to Settings, and then click on Permalinks. And you want to make sure you check off Post Name. So that way, anytime you write a new post, it'll be your domain name / and then the name of that post. And we're always going to name a post with our main keywords. So this way, we'll have our main keyword in the file name. The default WordPress format is just kind of like a P equals and some numbers. That's not very SEO friendly, so we do not want that. So if when you first come in here, it'll probably be at default. You want to check post name and hit save. From there, we're going to want to change the appearance. Now, right out of the box, it's going to be the standard WordPress theme, which is 2011. It's not a bad theme, but it does have a lot of limitations, and it's not going to do exactly what we want it to do. So we do want to change the theme. Now, when we talk about changing the theme, I am going to recommend that you use a paid theme for a couple reasons. A paid theme is going to have a lot more options. Because it's a paid theme, you're always going to know that the developer is constantly going to be updating it to work with the latest versions of WordPress and add in any new features that are necessary. And overall, you're just going to have a lot more flexibility on how to make the site look. Now, the theme I'm going to recommend that everybody use is called Headway Theme. Now, this is a theme I use with all of my websites that I make now. What's great about it is it has all the options we need, and it's incredibly easy to use. To make adjustments to it, you don't have to go in and edit any of the WordPress files like with a lot of themes you have to do. It's simply a drag and drop editor, so it's just incredibly easy to use. I don't know if they have a demo. They don't really have pictures, but you'll see when I show you. You just simply kind of drag and move stuff around to make edits. Now, of course, it is a paid theme, so it does have a cost. It's $68, and that includes unlimited use and installations for life. So for a single payment of $68, you can use it on all of your WordPress sites going forward. Of course, with a course like this, just making one site promoting Amazon products isn't going to make you probably the amount of money you make. It can make you a nice little bit of money, but you're going to want to build several of these. So with Headway Theme, the one payment of $68 lets you use it on all of your sites. Now, I know a lot of people might not want to spend the $68. I'm not going to, of course, make you spend it, but this is what I'm going to be using. This is what I'm going to be using through the rest of the demo. And I would highly, highly recommend that you do get a copy. It's an amazing theme. It's constantly updated, has all the features we need, and it is incredibly easy to use. So if we jump back over here, if you really don't want to pay the $68, I can understand that. You will want to go ahead and change the theme you're using. You can use one of the standard WordPress ones, which are nice because they're always going to be updated. But again, they do have some limitations that I don't like about them. So you can go to install themes up here, and you can browse all of their free themes. If you're going to do that, I would go for a very plain one because we don't want a lot of unnecessary graphics and colors and all that stuff. So I would choose a white one. I would go 2 columns. You probably want to go flexible width, but you don't have to. You can just hit Find Themes then, and it'll just give you a list of a whole pile of themes you can use. Now again, you can go that route. I would really highly recommend that you get the Headway theme. But again, I'm aware that some people aren't going to want to spend that money, so you can go that route. You'll have to you can still follow along. It might be a little different than me using Headway theme, but again, you do have that option. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Install Themes. So now let's say you went to Headway, you purchased it, you downloaded the zip file. You simply go to Upload. You hit Choose File, and then you just simply choose that zip file. So again, you want to upload the zip file. You don't need to unzip it or anything. Just click that, hit Open. We will hit Install Now, and then just simply hit Activate. And now I'll quickly show you how easy Headway is to use. So we simply just jump in to their visual editor. And you can see it comes up with a very clean, easy to use theme. Now, if you did, sometimes it'll start with a screen that asks you to choose what you want it to look like. You want the single column with a widget over here, and then of course you have your header and your navigation. So I'm just going to save that, and we can jump back to the admin dashboard. From there, that's the only things you really need to change. Headway has great SEO tools built into it. If you are going to use a free theme, the one thing I would recommend is that you go to plugins, go to add new, and you get the all-in-one SEO plugin. And that is right here, the all-in-one SEO pack. If you're going to use a free theme, I would recommend you install that because it'll help you with SEO. Most free themes won't have that built in, so you would just simply hit install now. I'm not going to do that because I'm using Headway, and again, I would highly recommend you use Headway as well. So now that we have those simple changes made, now what we need to do is go ahead and make our front page, our home page, kind of our money page. So I'm going to show you how to do that in the next video. Now, so at this point we have our site set up. So now we need to go ahead and make our home page, which is going to be a review of the top 3 or top 5 products in our market. Now this is going to be our money page. This is where we're going to make our affiliate commissions from. So we want to make sure we put a lot of effort into it, and this isn't content that you would want outsourced. You want to go ahead and write this yourself. Now, of course, let's just cover a couple quick on-page SEO topics. We will cover off-page SEO, backlinking in great detail later in the course. But now that we're going to start putting content on our site, I just want to review some on-page SEO. So first off, you want to make sure you're always using your keywords in your heading tags, and heading tags are just like your H1 tag. That's probably one of the most important aspects of on-page SEO, so we want to make sure we're always doing that. I'll show you how to do that in WordPress very easily. We also want to make sure we're using our keywords in the first and last paragraph. It seems to help with SEO. We don't want to be stuffing our keywords throughout the content a ton. You just want to write naturally, but you do want to make sure your main keywords are in the first and last paragraph. You also want to include variations of your main keyword. So my main keywords are best sleeping bags and sleeping bag reviews. So maybe I could put best sleeping bag, drop the S, or top sleeping bag, or best selling sleeping bag. Or I could also do sleeping bag ratings or sleeping bag comparison. Just variations of your main keyword to kind of mix them in there as well. Then you also want to make sure your keyword is in your title, description, and your keyword meta tags. And then you also want to use tags. We don't use those on a post, or I'm sorry, we don't use those on a page, but when we start adding posts, we will use tags. And putting your keyword in your title tag, that's just simply by naming that page with your main keyword. WordPress will automatically then put that in the title tag. And again, I'll show you an exact walkthrough as we get into it. So first off, we need to come up with the content for our front page. And what I like to do is just list the top 3 best-selling products in that category from Amazon. So I'm just here on Amazon, and if I go to, actually let me jump over here. If I go to their best sellers and I want to find sleeping bags, so I go to sports and outdoors, outdoor recreation, camping and hiking, and we have sleeping bags. So now, since I know absolutely nothing about sleeping bags, the easiest way for me to give the top 3 sleeping bags is just simply to use the top 3 best-selling sleeping bags on Amazon. Pretty simple. If they're the top selling bags on Amazon, which is the largest online retailer, chances are, they're the best. They're the most popular. And also, we want to make sure, we only make money if people click our links and buy something. So they're probably most likely to buy what everybody else is buying, because that obviously shows they're great sleeping bags. So I'm just going to list my top 3 sleeping bags based on the Amazon bestseller list. Now, a couple things to point out. With sleeping bags, They're all not really the same. I've kind of been doing a little research on them here. We have, like, for example, number one is the Adventurer Mummy Ultra Compact Sleeping Bag. So actually the reason this one is so popular is because it's very lightweight and very compactable. So it's great for people who are going on long hikes and don't want to carry a big, bulky sleeping bag. Then if we look at the Coleman Green Valley Cool Weather Sleeping Bag, that's a sleeping bag that's great for, not extreme weather. I think it's good for weather down to like 30 degrees. Where we also have, there was another one on here that I'm not seeing right now. There is like an extreme weather sleeping bag. So that's for people who are going to be in extreme temperatures down to like 0 degrees Fahrenheit. So for me, I'm going to rate the best the best one in each category. So I'll have, a compact category, a cool weather category, and extreme weather category. Another example might be, for example, if you're doing baby strollers, you could do the best baby stroller or the best jogging baby stroller, because a lot of people, will go jogging and push a stroller. Maybe the best walking stroller, things like that. Or if you just have a very general category where they all fall into the same kind of the same use, you can just list the top three. So what I'm going to do now is jump back over to our demo site. So what we want to do, where we're going to put this content, is a page. So we want to go page, add new. And again, for your title, you want that to be your keyword, because that's going to be your H1 tag. So I will put best sleeping bag reviews, because again, that is my main keyword. And then in here, you just simply, list out your top three. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this in so you can kind of see what it looks like, and then I'll go from there. Okay, so I just filled in the content there. So again, what I basically did was just give a little introduction. So when it comes to finding the best sleeping bag, which is one of my keywords, then I just talk about there's some things to consider. A lot of, Then I have best sleeping bag reviews. So again, I worked my two keywords in the beginning of the content. And then I say our top three choices based on camping conditions. So again, what I did was I did the best extreme weather sleeping bag, and I did the Coleman Northridge 0 degree mummy bag, because that one's good down to 0 degrees. And then again, I just basically outlined what's good about it, and then I gave a conclusion. And then I have the best cool weather sleeping bag, and that was that Coleman Green Valley Cool Weather Sleeping Bag. Again, I just listed some of the features, gave a conclusion. So this is ideal for the average camper who wants a comfortable, warm, and durable sleeping bag at a very reasonable price, because that was one of the cheaper ones as well. And then I have the best compact sleeping bag, and that was that Adventurer Mummy one. And then I gave a conclusion. Then at the end, again, I gave a little, just a little closing, and then I have best sleeping bag reviews. So I put my keywords at the end again as well. So that's all there really is to it. I just reviewed, the top three bags. I also put these little break lines in here to kind of break them up. If I go to HTML, you'll see that those are just simply an HR tag. So you just put, the HR tag in there, that puts a little line, kind of just breaks it up. So that's really all there is to adding the reviews. Now you'll see with the headway SEO tag, you want to go ahead, you enter in your title, then you give it your description as well. So that has the SEO all built in. And then you'll just simply publish that. So that is published. Now one thing we want to do is, now if we go to settings and we go to reading, it says your front page displays your latest posts. We don't want that. We want the page we just made to be a static front page. So if you do a static front page, and then we just choose the page we just made, which is best sleeping bag reviews, and if I hit save, now that page we just made will be the front page of our website. So if I go back over to the site, you can see right now it's completely blank because we have no content. And now if I refresh it, you can see that it popped in the page we just made as our front page. So there we go. One other thing you're going to want to change is if you go to Headway and you go to Options. Headway has its own search engine optimization tab here. So if we click on search engine optimization, let me scroll this over just a tad, and you can see that we can change the SEO for different pages. Now if we go to front page, we want to go ahead and enter in our SEO stuff. Now again, it gave us the option of doing that on the actual page, which I showed you, but now that we made this our front page, we need to enter it in here. So again, I have my title, Best Sleeping Bag Reviews, and then I'll just put in a description real quick. So I just entered in a quick description. If you are considering purchasing a new sleeping bag, you want to make sure to come read our sleeping bag reviews to see which bags made our top 3. So again, I have my main keyword in here, sleeping bag reviews. And it entices readers to come through. If I'm in the market for a new sleeping bag and I read that description, I'm going to say, hey, yeah, I do want to see which ones are their top 3s. And then we'll want to make sure and go down here and save changes. One other thing we can do right now is if we go to single post, we want to go ahead and remove site name from here, so it's just the title. Because in the future, when we make posts to this, we want to make sure the title is just, the title is just the title of the post. So again, you just go to post, just make it title, and I will save that as well. And again, you can see how easy Headway is to use here. They make everything so simple to use. So that's all there really is to that. That's about adding your content. Now, in the next video, we'll talk about adding our Amazon affiliate links to the page.